A warm welcome to Leaders of Tomorrow Season 10. I'm Ritvika Gupta. On the show tonight, we are bringing you our limited edition Atmanirbhar series, The Leaders of Tomorrow Marvels, focusing on companies and businesses that are proudly championing the India story and wearing their Indian tag. First up, I'm in conversation with Rudra Chatterjee, Managing Director, Luxmi Group and Chairman, Obeetee. In the second segment, my colleague Sunanda Jayasilan will be bringing you a special conversation with Anupam Mittal, founder of Shaadi.com. A packed edition ahead, let's get started. Hi Rudra, thank you for joining us on Leaders of Tomorrow. I want to begin today's interview by talking about the journey of Luxmi Tea. You have a rich heritage, you have been in the business for over 100 years, it's incredible. So tell us the story of how it all began.
So Luxmi Tea was started by my grandfather in 1912. It was right after the movement for freedom started in 1905, and he was a freedom fighter. And the reason he started Luxmi Tea was in a small state of independent Tripura. He formed a group of people, Bengali, Assamese and people from different walks of life, to make tea that was Indian made for the Indian market. Since then, under the leadership of my father, Rudra Chatterjee, the company has grown. And over the last 10 years, we have expanded in Rwanda, added more tea estates in Assam, and also, rather than only focusing on the size, the ethos of Luxmi Tea is to make the best tea in whichever region we produce. So we have Makai Bari, which is the best tea, what we think is the best tea in the world, the best of Darjeeling, best teas in Assam near the Dibrugarh area, and also in Rwanda our teas are the most expensive teas of Africa.
Luxmi Tea is truly an Atmanirbhar company. Tell us, what is your mission today towards the tea industry?
So Luxmi Tea has always focused on a good quality product made by people who are looked after by the company. For us, Luxmi is the woman who's making the tea. And when we think of Atmanirbhar, we don't only think of making the tea out of the tea estate, but the whole process of packaging, branding and sending it to the customer. India is very fortunate because we make some of the best teas in the world. But unfortunately, most of the Indian teas are not branded by Indian companies. So the global tea brands, which have been around for many years and they've done a fantastic job. We are very grateful for their business. But there is no reason why there cannot be brands out of Darjeeling, out of Assam, and also today with herbs, where India is a phenomenal treasure trove, whether it is in turmeric or ashwagandha or moringa, mixed with green tea or black tea, and creating something that the customer around the world would say that this is the best quality product, packaged beautifully using Indian designers and hopefully distributed online. And that's the focus of Luxmi Tea. We have a very strong web presence now on Luxmitea.com and also on other sites, where customers can order a cup of tea and get it delivered straight from the estate in Darjeeling or Assam.
Over the years, tea producers have been reinventing their businesses and adapting online blends for consumer connect. Tell us, how has Luxmi Tea evolved in this digital era?
I think of all the products you can buy online, tea is among the best. There are many reasons. One is the fresher the tea, the better it is. So buying online means you're probably getting the tea, especially if you're buying from a producer like Luxmi, you're getting the tea straight from the estate. The second is the economics of online business. It works very well with a food product. There's not as many returns. It's a habitual consumption. It can be given as a gift. So Luxmi, was late to the online game, but during the pandemic, one of our innovations was, we will start selling tea on the website. And we did both subscriptions of tea. So people who like a particular type of tea, you like a strong Assam or you like a flavorful Darjeeling, You order it and it gets sent weekly, monthly, quarterly, in whichever way you wish. But also all the different kinds of tea, whether it is a tea that you wake up to in the morning, which could be a masala chai, a tea that you go to sleep with, like white tea. All these options which are difficult to get from a retail store is available online. Also, you would know that the tea is coming straight from the estate. And also, one of the big focus of our company is to build education and social services inside our tea estates. So while we are already contributing, there's a stipend to 200 students in addition to the legal and regulatory requirements for education. More than 200 students in Lxmi Tea get an additional monthly stipend of 1,000 rupees. But we want to use some of the proceeds of the business that is online to build better schools and better healthcare and make sure that this builds a community around the tea estates, and that is what we are there for, to create a community in the tea growing regions and take that tea straight to the customer wherever they might be. In our biggest customer base is in the United States for tea, so it's being shipped straight from the tea estate to customers living in US and who would never find teas of this quality or this freshness.
And according to you, what are some of the things that the central government needs to focus on to make India's tea industry a global name?
I think the opportunity for India is to become the world's favorite tea country. And for that, we need to package, brand, and reach good quality tea to the final customer. There is massive advantages of Indian tea. India makes some of the best teas in the world. But there is also a lot of tea that gets processed, made, and sold, which are not of that quality. So it's very important for the tea industry in India, for the consumers of India, to focus on quality. People around the world would buy our product if we make a good quality product. That is true for tea and that's true for everything else. It has to be well packaged, well branded. It should be a seamless experience to order. I think there's another huge opportunity. The tea industry in Darjeeling, in the southern states, in Assam, these are some of the very sensitive, ecologically important areas of the country. Tea industry needs to build back forests, and it's very important that with the help of the government, with the private sector, we commit to building back forests in tea estates. It will improve the health of tea. It will improve the use of pesticides and other harmful substances, because if there's a forest, that's more sustainable. It will improve climate. It might help our net zero targets as a country and as a company. And it's very important that Indian tea industry plays a major role in reversing climate change while making a world-class product. Doing both would make us a champion and a steward for a 21st century business.
Rudra, tell us what, according to you, are some of the biggest challenges of the tea industry today?
I think there are lots of challenges in the tea industry, and one is that increasing costs, whether it is because of the climate change, production is dropping, in terms of the labor cost, in terms of the land cost, in all aspects of production in India. The second issue with India is the cost of logistics. Transporting tea from parts of Assam, from Tripura, from Darjeeling, and then shipping it using the infrastructure we have, the road and rail infrastructure, means that it becomes much more expensive when it goes to Western India or goes to other countries. So reducing the cost of logistics and focusing on climate change.
On that note, it's time for a quick break. When we return, Anupam Mittal of Shaadi.com is in focus. Stay tuned. Welcome back. You're here with us on Leaders of Tomorrow Season 10. Our icon in the hot seat tonight is a person who needs no introduction, Anupam Mittal of Shaadi.com. Listen into this exclusive conversation.
was speaking with your team trying to get some sort of ammo on you before this interview, and I understand that you like to pick people not necessarily from that specific area of, say, study or experience, and say, this is what I feel you would perhaps be good for, or I think you would fit in this role. And I saw a sign outside which says, what are your superpowers? So Anupam, my question to you is investing in people and finding the right people your superpower, and how do you do that? Is it essential for a leader to be able to identify those people?
Yeah, well, there are two questions in that. One is finding good founders and investing in them my superpower? So I'll answer that one first. I think it's becoming a bit of a superpower, right? I fell into it. I didn't know when I wrote my first check that it's called angel investing. I just thought, just like my dad's time within our community, they used to give money to each other to start a business. I thought that's what I'm doing. To some people I really believed in. It became India's largest digital ad agency, right? And we sold it since then, of course. But and over time, then I said, wow, this is a great asset class. You can make so many times your money. So I kept investing in founders I believed in. And I think I used to do it extremely instinctively because I didn't really have frameworks or formats in my head, or, like I said, I didn't even know it was called angel investing. So I used to do it very instinctively, and I got my first few bets right. And now, obviously, I've got a few frameworks. I still use instinct a lot. But yes, so it's becoming a bit of a muscle, I would say, that perhaps you can call a superpower. In terms of identifying, which was your second question, identifying people and
is it essential for a leader?
I think it's essential for a leader to instinctively try to understand very quickly what somebody is good at and what they would really be happy doing, right? Because if you don't, even if you have the right people, they might be in the wrong seats, right? And I think the primary job of a leader is to pick the right people and put them in the right seats. Either one goes wrong, you have a problem, right? So that is something a leader should spend most of their time on, figuring out who's good at what and will give you the biggest bang of the buck, and helping them realize that too, because then they can really be fulfilled and happy.
So as we're winding down today's conversation, then I do want to ask you about Dream Deal. Yeah. What can you tell us on that?
Well, dreamdeal.me is the Instagram handle and the URL. I'll tell you how it came about. It's very interesting. But, I did Shark Tank season 1, and it was what happened because of Shark Tank. One good thing that happened is obviously I got to connect with a lot of people from Bharat, as I call it. Because uske pehle kya hota tha na, ki we are in a gilded offices and glass cages, and we get so disconnected from the world. When we start out as founders, we are very connected. That's how we spot opportunities. But as we grow as companies, we get disconnected. But when I started Shark Tank, I met entrepreneurs that I usually don't have access to. Usually I see IIT, IIM guys, and people who have access. These are people from every corner of Bharat, right? Small, struggling people, aunties, housewives, sister, brother, mother, and daughter-in-law, things like that. So that was a great learning, right? And these are the people who really need help, right? And after I came out of Shark Tank as well, a lot of these people now, because I was known, approach me on the streets or write to me, and it's become very hard for me to keep up and write back because there's just so much incoming that I can't possibly reply back even if I wanted to. And so I figured that, Shark Tank, only so many people make it. Why can't we create something that offers grants to people and gives them an opportunity to expose their product and service online now that I have some sort of followership on social media? Can I use that in a way that benefits other people? So we launched dreamdeal.me, and anybody can put up a 30-second reel on Instagram. I think this is the first time ever that it's happened in the world. And we'll give them grants, so we don't even take any equity. It's fundamentally just a little money to get your idea off the ground, for you to be able to create a proof of concept. And of course, we'll share those reels and expose you to others as well. Maybe somebody else is interested in investing in you. So I just wanted to see if I could maximize the help and the support and the reach to people out there, and we thought this was a great way to do it.
I also want to talk about Anupam ki Shaadi.
Yeah, very
You've
provocative.
been married for many years, I know, but this is really just a film talking about your journey as an entrepreneur. You even shaved off your beard.
Yeah. It's
for
funny,
this
you look
one.
20 years younger. I failed maybe, but no, Anupam Ki Shaadi is a very provocative title. My wife wasn't very happy with it when I first saw it, but no, it's very interesting title because it actually traces Shaadi.com's journey over 20 years. And the reason we did it is very simple actually. One is, look, just doing another advertisement doesn't work anymore. People want to see authentic stuff, genuine stuff. And we thought the story of Shaadi.com was very interesting because wherever we go, the first question, why did you think of Shaadi.com? Because it's not something that comes obviously to people, right?
Yeah.
It's very culturally heavy. तो लोग हमेशा पूछते थे, we said बार बार वही story बोलने के बजाय एक picture बना देते हैं. Documentaries nobody likes to watch, they're boring. We said, why don't I play myself 20 years younger, somebody said. And we said, wow, that's interesting. And so we said, we'll tell the story of Shaadi.com. Another message it serves is, it serves as a great inspiration for entrepreneurs because most people, for some reason or the other, believe that many of us are just overnight success stories because one day you don't know about us and then suddenly you know about us. So you think it happened overnight. But in reality, most success stories are like a lifetime in the making. And Anupam Ki Shaadi, the film, actually it's available on all social media platforms, on YouTube, Instagram, and so on, traces that journey. So it shows you the ups and the downs and the struggles of building this global brand. And I think it'll inspire a lot of, it's actually gone viral, thankfully, it did well. And I think it'll inspire a lot of young entrepreneurs and founders. So we're very proud of it.
Fantastic. While I do know that I've asked you this in bits and pieces over the course of this conversation, but if you want to leave our viewers with one piece of advice that perhaps you've received in your professional journey that's changed the way you think about doing things, what do you want to tell them?
Look, I think one of the things that changed the way I look at the world happened with me when I was in US, when I was in school, in college. When I was here, our way of teaching when I was younger was very authoritarian. Ki teacher kitab padhti thi school mein, class mein, and you just listened and you couldn't challenge them.
Yeah.
When I was in the US, I realized that I could challenge my professors and they would encourage my opinion. And they would really, present it to others. So, developing that confidence in yourself and the conviction that your view and your opinion matters, right, is very important. And if you want to do bigger and bigger things, that confidence and that conviction has to keep growing, right? Of course, you cannot become delusional, but, or I should say differently, you cannot remain delusional all your life. But having some level of delusions at the beginning of an entrepreneurial career are also very important. So I think you have to start somewhere. It doesn't matter however small. You don't have to necessarily spend your time thinking of a very large idea. Start somewhere and look for little successes and build your confidence and conviction. And I think if that happens, if you continue to do that, you will get on a path that you get stronger within, which is what it's required to build a long-term entrepreneurial journey. And let me tell you, all successful entrepreneurial journeys are ultimately long-term.
Fantastic. Anupam, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Sunanda. It's been a pleasure.
And it's a wrap on tonight's show. If you have any feedback for us, do let us know. Our details on your screens as we speak. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.